So, the Netherlands just had the coldest Christmas in decades, and somehow the weather still wasn't the most chilling things that happened. Because while the country froze at around 1 to 2 degrees on both Christmas days, with the national reference station not even getting above freezing, some people apparently looked at that and thought, lekker! Perfect conditions to set literally everything on fire. Christmas Day officially counted as an ice day, meaning the temperature never rose above 0. At night, it dropped to around -5, cold shelters opened for vulnerable people, and natural ice rinks appeared almost overnight. For a brief moment, the Netherlands turned into a low-budget version of Narnia. No magic, no talking animals, just frozen fingers and a broken NS timetable. And then, the country immediately decided to celebrate that by turning New Year's Eve into Mad Max, but with oliebollen. A post-apocalyptic wasteland where everyone is angry, nothing makes sense, and someone is always holding a deep-fried dodgeball. Meanwhile, Christmas markets were everywhere. Because if there is one thing that Dutch love more than complaining about cold, it's paying 6 or 7 euros for lukewarm, mulled wine served in a plastic cup. A cup so thin, it actively gives up halfway through the drink. Weather services warned this could be the coldest Christmas in 15 years. Municipalities responded with absolute confidence. Sure, set up the stalls. If anyone complains about freezing fingers, remind them it's part of the experience. That's the plan. That's the risk assessment. Authorities even advised visitors to dress warmly while standing still in queue for churros that cost more than your monthly OV balance. And this is the perfect Dutch contradiction. On the one hand, it's too cold, government must do something. On the other, voluntarily standing outside for 3 hours to take a photo with a plastic Santa who looks like he hasn't slept since 1998. And the best part is what happens every single year before all these. Weeks in advance we get the ritual. Police chiefs hold press conferences, doctors give interviews, emergency services politely beg the public. They all say the same thing. This is dangerous, this is avoidable. This puts enormous pressure on healthcare. And the country responds with the same energy as the terms and conditions pop up. Yes, yes, sure, just click accept. Because warnings in the Netherlands are fascinating. They are not instructions, they are background noise, like rain, or NS delays, or your neighbor drilling at 7 a.m. on Sunday. Every year there are reports. Reports saying fireworks injuries are predictable, damage runs into the tens of millions, emergency workers are attacked, and banning consumer fireworks would immediately reduce casualties. And every year politicians go, interesting, very concerning. Let's do absolutely nothing right now. Because Dutch politics has mastered one skill above all others: postponing responsibility until it becomes tradition. Then, while everyone was comparing gourmet sets and silently ranking whose parents-in-law are the most passive-aggressive, Amsterdam lost a piece of its history. Just after midnight, a major fire broke out in the Vondelkerk, a 19th century neo-Gothic landmark near the Vondelpark. Flames shot out of the tower, the roof was destroyed, the 50-meter spire collapsed. Nearby residents were evacuated as burning debris flew through the streets. By late morning, firefighters managed to contain the blaze. Structural engineers said the outer walls would probably remain standing, which is honestly the most Dutch sentence imaginable. It's burned down, but the facade is still fine, so maybe we can turn it into a brasserie. Because if there is one thing the Netherlands believes in, it's that everything is temporary, except Horeca. The church was designed by the same architect who gave us the Rijksmuseum and Amsterdam Central Station. It had already been rescued once and turned it into a cultural venue. And now, it's back in intense care. And yes, investigation will follow, reports will be written, conclusions will be complex, and by next year, the lesson will be forgotten, just in time for the next tradition. And you know, all this happened on a New Year's Eve already filled with fireworks, violence, and chaos. At the exact moment the country is debating whether consumer fireworks should finally be banned, officially, no one is sure fireworks caused the church fire. We just know that on New Year's night, during a nationwide fireworks explosion festival, a historic church burned down. Total coincidence. In the Netherlands, even coincidence is a civil liberty. Every year, fireworks cause tens of millions in damage, over thousands injuries, and hospitals quietly begging the public, could we maybe not to do this again? And yet the response is always the same. Tradition. Or a warmer cousin, gezelligheid, that famous Dutch word meaning cozy togetherness, as long as nobody loses an eye. And it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet. Emergency workers report being threatened, attacked, and deliberately targeted with fireworks. Police officers describe New Year's Eve as unmanageable, which is a very polite Dutch way of saying we are completely outnumbered and everyone is drunk. In some cities, authorities literally advise only call emergency services if it's absolutely necessary. Which raises the obvious question, what is New Year's Eve if not a medical experiment in absolute necessary? And it comes the international comparison, because the Netherlands is not unique in liking fireworks, but we are unique in combining them with alcohol, narrow streets, bicycles, and belief that rules are optional after midnight. Other countries and cities banned consumer fireworks years ago, and somehow these cities still exist, the tradition survived, and society did not collapse. Strange. And you know what else is strange too? The same country that perfectly organizes traffic around bicycles somehow accepts a yearly free-for-all with explosives. Politicians inch toward a ban, but always slowly, because nobody wants to be remembered as the person who cancelled the fun explosions. So we end up in this absurd middle ground. Warnings everywhere, record sales anyway, hospitals overloaded, firefighters playing live-action Call of Duty. Except the respawn time is permanent. And in the middle of it all, a 150-year-old church collapses in flames during the coldest, prettiest holiday week in years. It's almost poetic, in a worst possible way. So here is the question. If the coldest Christmas in decades doesn't cool down the obsession with explosives, what will? Another burned building? Another child in an eye hospital? Or the moment we finally admit that gezelligheid doesn't need a casualty count? This was the Dutch Roast. Stay warm, stay safe, and if you absolutely need to see something explode, just watch Dutch politics.